Hey everybody, David G here, founder of the Internet Marketing Party, and I'm very, very pleased to be on this recording, on this presentation today with my very special guest, Ryan Levesque. One of the reasons I'm excited about it is not only because of the information that he's about to share with you that's going to make you a lot of money, but also because he is someone who's been coming to the Internet Marketing Party for over a year now, and not only has he been coming to the party for over a year, but he's somebody that has actually taken action on some of the information that he's gotten from coming to the party. So he's kind of a successful superstar alumni of the Internet Marketing Party. So that being said, Ryan, take it away.
Well, thank you, sir, for the kind and undeserved introduction. Really appreciate it. Dave has a very special place in my heart for a couple reasons. Number one, David is one of the first people that I met when my family and I moved to Austin. I'm actually from the Northeast, grew up outside of Boston, and made my way to Texas via China, where my wife and I spent about 5 years of our life living in Asia. When we moved to Austin, we didn't really know anybody, and I wanted to get plugged into the internet marketing scene. And David was very gracious in kind of bringing us into that circle. So really appreciate it. Really happy with what you do, and I'm very excited to be here today to talk about something that I think is probably one of the most monumental, massive changes that is going on in internet marketing online right now, and it's something that we're sort of at the cusp of a major opportunity, and there's sort of a first mover advantage opportunity that we have in front of us right now. And what I want to talk about today is why the squeeze page is now dead, and more importantly, what's coming up next and what is about to replace it. So that's what we're going to be covering today, and it ties into the talk that we'll be doing in October, but I want to lead in with some really interesting content to kind of set the foundation and to show you some things that are really exciting and things that you'll be able to implement in your own business very, very, very soon. Before we get into that, though, one of the biggest questions I always have when I'm listening to someone speak is, all right, why the hell should I pay attention to what you have to say? So without getting into a long, drawn-out background of who I am, that's a photo of my ugly mug there, Ryan. That's a photo of me teaching a course. Before I went into the internet marketing world, a couple lifetimes ago, I actually studied and taught neuroscience at the Ivy League level at Brown University. And the reason why I bring that up is because a lot of what I do in my marketing ties back to psychological triggers, psychological phenomenon that goes on. So there's an underlying psychology behind a lot of what you're going to see here, a lot of the strategies and tactics that we're going to talk about. And it's all about learning how to leverage that natural psychology that goes on in your prospect's brain and implementing that into your marketing. And then the second reason why I think it's worth paying attention is because I'm someone who's earned well over $1 million online outside the how to make money space using what you're about to discover. And the reason why I bring that up specifically is because one of the sort of litmus tests that I always use when I'm paying attention to someone and deciding whether or not I should value what they're telling me is, has this person made money beyond just teaching people how to make money, right? So has this person actually run a successful business? Have they implemented what they are teaching beyond just teaching people a technique? And so, as you'll see in a moment with some of the examples that I'll give you, we'll get into that. Now, before we get into why the squeeze page is dead and what's coming up next, I think it's really important that we just kind of very quickly talk about the evolution of the landing page. And when we talk about the landing page, what I mean is any page, the page that a site sends targeted traffic to, the page where a visitor first lands on your site. So I want to talk really briefly about kind of how things have evolved so we can figure out how did we get to where we are today and what's coming up next. So if we think back to 2000, typically what you would see, people, if they did run advertising, was probably banner advertising. And if they did run advertising, oftentimes they sent traffic to their homepage. So in 2000, typical landing page was a homepage, a page that had a million frickin' links on it, graphics galore. You had no sense of eye tracking navigation or optimization. It was just a big hot mess of links and just under optimized pages. And so in 2000, that was really typical, right? So the next thing that came along a couple years later is basically where we are today, and that's the squeeze page, right? How many times have we seen a page like this, right? With a headline, box shot graphic, a few bullet points, maybe a short little video, and a form to opt in. Now, the problem with this page there are a couple problems with this page, but the big one that I want to talk about is that when you put together this type of squeeze page, not only has pretty much every prospect on the internet seen this thing before, but it presupposes that you know what the prospect wants, right? Because it's akin to standing up on your tippy toes and waving your hand up in the air saying, look at me, here's why my solution, ebook, my video, my product, my program, whatever it is the best, right? And in a crowded marketplace of squeeze pages like this, basically that's what the prospect sees. Everybody is on their tippy toes, waving, trying to get attention, saying, here's why my solution is the best. Look at me, look at me, look at me. Now here is the squeeze page killer. This is something that has started to take off, something that I've been implementing across my own businesses, something that I've been working with high-level private clients to implement in their businesses, and something I want to share with you today and show you how you can implement it into your business. And it's a subtle shift, what might seem as a subtle shift to what we just talked about, but really there are some major things going on. So here's the difference. Whereas a typical squeeze page, again, is likened to standing on your tippy toes and saying, here's why my solution is the best, look at me, look at me, look at me. This is a two-step process that instead of presenting your solution as being the best, you take a step back. You take much more of a consultative selling approach and saying, well, time out a second. I don't know if what I have to offer you is a good fit for you. In fact, for most people, my solution, my ebook, my program, my product, whatever it may be, is actually not a good fit. However, we have a simple way to find out if this program is something that could benefit you. All you need to do is answer a few simple questions, and we'll be able to determine if this is something that you can benefit from. And not only that, but we'll put together a personalized, tailored set of recommendations based on how you answer those questions right here, right now, so you can get started making progress towards your goal, whatever it may be, right away. Right? So it's a much more consultative approach, and it's a question-oriented approach. So it's a major shift, and what I want to get into in a moment are the 3 key steps to this process, and then I want to talk about the 3 key psychological triggers for why this squeeze page killer is so powerful and why it can actually boost your conversion rates by as much as 400%. Does that make sense so far, everything that we kind of talked about?
Yeah.
And so I'll give you an example. For competitive reasons, I can't reveal the actual ad copy, but this is one of my AdWords accounts. The screen that you see towards the bottom, right? If we look all the way to the right-hand side of the screen here, this is our actual conversion rate. This measures our opt-in lead conversion rate. So in other words, what percentage of people are actually opting into this page. The red represents the first attempt, which is actually a typical squeeze page, a typical one-step, here's why you need to opt in, here's why what you're about to see is the most amazing thing in the world, which is what everybody does. 6% conversion rate. And this is in a highly competitive niche, one where the average click prices are north of $10 a click.
Hey, Ryan.
That's $10 a click. All right, so so if we look here, where I'm circling with this really beautiful pink color here.
Yeah, it's
quite attractive.
In fact, I'm feeling kind of tingly inside.
That's David. Feeling tingly inside. So 6.5%, so 6.25%. So this is a screenshot from a portion of one of my AdWords accounts. And what you can see here, these columns represent, the one all the way on the right represents the conversion rate, the opt-in conversion rate on a series of ads that I was running in a campaign. Now, the important takeaways, you don't have to look at every single one of these numbers here, but the important takeaways are a conventional one-step squeeze page along the lines of the one that I showed you in the example was yielding a 6% opt-in rate. 6% opt-in rate, right? So the cost per conversion in that case was north of $200. This is to acquire a lead in this market. This is not for sale. This is to acquire a lead. This is a market in which a typical sale is worth several $1,000s. But a lead, $200. Now, through a series of split tests and through implementing that two-step consultative landing page process, which we're going to get into in a little bit more detail, we were able to take that from 6% to 30%. Actually, north of 30%.
Wow.
And the big takeaway here is that our cost per lead, this is cost per lead now, went from $200 to $30.
Wow. I'm so glad.
That is a game changer. That took this business from the red, massively in the red, to being wildly profitable. Simply by changing the lead generation strategy. So when I say that this strategy can boost your opt-in conversion rates by north of 400%, it really can. It really can.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've worked with north of probably between 25 and 30 private clients to implement this in their own businesses, and we've yet to see one where there was not a measurable and significant bump in their sales funnel conversion rates. Now, the changes to the squeeze page are simple on the surface, but like most things, the devil is in the details. The devil is in the details, and I want to get into some of the reasons and some of the ways in which you can achieve this type of bump. But first, before we get into that, I want to talk about really what the big opportunity is here, right? Because there is a massive opportunity. If we look at this slide right now, this slide is straight from the Google keyword tool, and it represents the global monthly searches on some short tail, high volume keywords across a series of different unrelated niches. So the niches that I looked at, one is improve memory, which is a niche that I have a major presence in, the improve memory niche. Another one is disability benefits, build muscle, and lose weight. Now the thing that all four of these keywords have in common is that they're short tail, they are super high volume, and super high volume obviously varies from one niche to another. If we look at improve memory, that's 165,000 monthly searches. Lose weight, that's more than 9 million searches. So it varies from niche to niche. But the thing that they all have in common, and this is the key, is that the keyword itself does not give you enough information about the prospect to presuppose that you know what they want, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And so what happens is advertisers, and whether you're doing paid advertising, display advertising, if you're doing SEO or sending targeted traffic through JB mailers, is that traffic on these types of keywords, if we focus in on PPC and SEO for a moment, the keyword itself does not yield enough information for you to use a typical squeeze page that says, here's my free report on how to improve memory. It's the best report out there, and here's why, bullet, 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 bullet. Go ahead and sign up to get this free report. There's not enough information because in the improved memory niche, for example, which is a niche that I'm extremely familiar with, you have the full range of people. You have people who are students, college students, who are looking to improve their memory so they can get better test scores because they're looking to go to law school or medical school. You have people who are in their 40s who are going back to school, who have found that by going back to school, their minds aren't as sharp as they used to be back when they were a full-time student, and they're struggling. They're struggling with their tests. And then you've got seniors who are concerned about mental decline and the thought of onset of Alzheimer's and dementia, and they're concerned about those health-related issues, and they're all searching on this same keyword, improve memory. The same thing can be said for the build muscle niche. Someone who's looking to build muscle could be a pumped up, steroid injected meathead, or it could be a woman in her 60s concerned about osteoporosis and looking to build muscle to offset the effects of osteoporosis and problems with, spinal issues, and the full range in between that, right? You could have a college-age athlete who's looking to build muscle specifically in his legs because he's a track star, or you could have the guy who's looking to build his biceps because he wants to impress chicks at the beach. There's so many different variants on what that prospect might look like. So if you're presenting a typical squeeze page, you can't make this traffic convert profitably enough to run it. So the antidote, the big opportunity here, and the big first mover advantage opportunity here is to use the three-step process that I'm about to show you to make this type of traffic work and potentially be the only, or at least the first, competitor in your particular niche, in your particular market, to take advantage of this and to be able to make this high volume, short tail keyword traffic convert in ways that your competitors simply can't match you. So here's the 3 steps to the sequence in a nutshell. Now I'm going to focus on the 3 steps. This is the 30,000 foot level to kind of see what this opt-in landing page, squeeze page killer process looks like, and then we're going to talk about the psychology behind why it's so powerful and the subtle keys to making it work. So basically the 3 steps in a nutshell, and these are screenshots from one of my websites. Step 1 is a teaser video. The teaser video uses a couple different psychological forces to compel your prospect to go to step 2 by clicking on a link on step 4 or a button, by clicking on a link on step 1 or a button to get to step 2, which presents them with a form. The form can take several different variations. We're going to talk about what I'm seeing as being the best converting variation in a moment. And that form is designed to do 2 things. It's designed to qualify your prospect, and it's designed to segment your prospect. Now, by segmenting and qualifying, you can do things that your competition simply cannot do, which we'll get to in a moment. And the 3rd step is a degree of personalized or customized or tailored follow-up, especially immediate follow-up, based on how your prospect answers the questions that you've put forth in your form, whether it's a single-step form like you see in this example or a multi-step form like we're going to get to in a second. So the teaser video is short. It's a VSL style video, video sales letter style video, that's no more than 2 to 3 minutes long, ideally 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Now, that video is scripted in such a way that you sell people on the idea of going through your process, but you take away. You do a takeaway, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit more detail and why that's so powerful. The form itself, like I said, can be multi-step or single-step, and the personalized follow-up can either be a sales letter, a video sales letter, or some sort of sales materials that speak specifically to the way in which the prospect answered your questions in your form or your survey and presents them with a solution that's positioned as being tailored to their particular needs. So this is the 30,000 foot view. This is the process in a nutshell. So now I want to talk about the 3 psychological forces that make this subtle shift to the squeeze page so powerful. And really this is the recipe to the secret sauce. And so if during this interview, if you've ever felt compelled to take out a notebook and to take out a pen or a pencil to take some notes, now's the time to do it, because now is the time that you're going to see what is really the keys to making this whole strategy work and implementing it in your own business.
Hey, real quick, I like to make these less than 20 minutes so I can put them on YouTube and Facebook. So what are you thinking if we were to just stop this and make it?
I'm cool with whatever. Do you want to, I mean, what I can do is, I mean, here's the thing. I don't want to leave people with too little content that they're going to say, there's nothing there.
Well, I think the astute viewer would already be able to. So
okay. So do you want me to say something like, in tomorrow's video, in the next video, I'm going to cover the 3 psychological forces. But in the meantime, if you have any questions or something's unclear to you, leave a comment.
Yeah.